Hey everyone, today I have a good friend of mine, Miss Gina Hendrix, who is also known as the Billionaires and Celebrities Matchmaker. We've had her on before actually, but today we have a really exciting topic that we're going to discuss with you shortly. She has a new book called The Great Manhunt, which is available on Amazon. And she's a gatekeeper for some of the most eligible men in the world. You can learn more about her at ginahendrix.com. Or you can do a deep dive into all her great advice when you find her on TikTok at Matchmaker Gina Hendrix. Did I forget anything?
No, that was
all
great.
right.
That's a lot. She does a lot. Yeah.
Perfect. That's the tip of the iceberg.
Yeah, right.
But that's awesome. Thank you very much.
And she has some books that maybe we can talk about those at the end.
Yeah, my other book, sure.
Yeah. So I'd watched a special, the Tinder Swindler, and I was telling Kelly about it. She was living vicariously through me. And I thought, Gina probably knows about this guy. I mean, not knows because you don't deal with those kind of guys.
No, thank God.
You might have good advice about it.
Absolutely. I've done TikTok videos about it. And yeah, I've talked about it. And yeah, I love helping ladies do dating better. That's for sure.
Yeah. So this guy, what amazed me about him though, was that he's kind of out. I guess he did like 15 months or something like that in jail.
Barely anything.
For fraud.
Yeah.
If you like our videos, go ahead and click on like and subscribe. We really appreciate it. Thanks.
Fraud. And a lot of people want to say bad things about the women, but I think it was you that was saying you shouldn't really, criticize the women, or, what do you think about that?
I think
sucked in.
First of all, let's tell people what the story is.
Yeah, right. Let's tell
sure.
So what happened?
Well, I think Gina might be more of an expert on
me
that.
to do that?
Yeah.
I mean, okay, sure. So basically to set it up, and I mean, I think these days almost everybody, I mean, I don't know, not everybody, but a lot of people, most people know about this whole Netflix documentary called The Tinder Swindler. Mm-hmm. And it is about, and it all really takes place in Europe, which is important because those laws over there are kind of what made him be able to elude capture and things for a long time. And also it's why that he didn't get much jail time anyway, versus the other girl who has that other Netflix, or I don't know if it's on Netflix, but the other show, that's called, it's Anna, Inventing Anna.
Oh yes. I've been watching that too.
So that one's a great one. And, it makes me angry that like, she got so much time and yet he didn't, but it was because she's in the US and he's in Europe. But anyway,
that's a good point. That's a good point. So
anyway, I think, and I honestly think what he did was worse than what she did, but that could be another show. So for him, he is a guy that literally has no redeeming qualities, except his ability as a con artist. And he is like an amazing con artist. And specifically, he preys on women. Although, as the documentary goes on, it turns out he preyed on tons of people, couples, like people, he got money out of all kinds of people, not just dating related. But I think his low hanging fruit, if you will, was using the dating apps to access women. And convince them out of the gate that he was this like built from a billionaire's family, and he was super wealthy and he had this great lifestyle, and and so he got them on the hook rather easily. But then once they were on the hook, things took a turn, and then he turned the tables and ultimately got a lot of money out of all these women.
And it was kind of like a Ponzi scheme in a way. Like he'd get one woman to cover his expenses for a short period of time.
Yes, absolutely. He was flying in the private plane, paid for by another woman to con the next woman, and so on and so forth. But what's weird is that like and because I was going over this in my head as I was watching it, like, I was trying to poke holes in it, but I would say that it was tricky to poke holes in out of the gate. Because like when he flew the first woman on the private plane, he had his bodyguard with him. Here was the clincher. He had his baby mama with him and the baby.
Yeah.
They were all on the plane going along with all this. That to me is shocking. And that would also make it that much harder for a woman to be able to spot.
That's true.
Stuff out of the gate, and he knows that. That's what makes a great con artist, right? Because they know that the more people that you have around in your circle, especially baby mama and a baby, that's gonna. But it's weird how he works. He created so much to just then just slowly bilk these women. It's a lot of work that he does, to get this money, but that's how he makes his living. So
yeah, that's his job.
That's his job. Yeah, he's good at it.
That's what I'm thinking. Why don't you just get a job if it's that?
Well, you wouldn't be making that
and work and planning and all that.
Well, because here's the thing: this job allows him to have sex with ladies. That's part of the job. He gets to eat at the best restaurants. He gets to fly private planes. I mean, there's not many jobs that this guy could have that would be legitimate that would also include all those perks. You know what I mean?
Right.
Not too many.
Right.
Yeah. Good point.
Private jets are usually only saved for people in, an exclusive income bracket.
I mean, listen,
Yeah.
I laugh about this, but it's like all these like billionaires and celebrities that I've worked with in all these years, and I've never flown private, and they fly private. But is anybody inviting Gina on the plane?
Right.
No.
Hint, 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 hint.
Hint, hint. Oh, believe me, I tell them all the time.
You want
whatever.
to
It is what it is.
Right. Yeah. So now I know you don't work with guys like that, but you did a TikTok video, which was really clever. I thought that the TikTok video you did, which we can look on TikTok.
Yeah. Because the reason I think I blew up on TikTok in July. And it was, and it was because I like to do these profile makeovers, and I have a show on YouTube called Dating App Do-Overs, where I take somebody who really needs help for their dating app profile and I give them a makeover, and I love doing that and it's fun. But then, somebody came to me, Millionaire Match actually came to me, and they wanted to partner with me. And they said, you really need to tap into the audience that wants to talk about the affluent men, because there's a huge audience for women that want access to these kind of guys, and you have access, so you should do videos about it. So that's why I started doing these videos. And so my audience now on TikTok, they want to know how to attract these guys, how to, so it was a natural fit. The Tinder Swindler, I felt like, was a natural fit to help these women spot the difference between the ones that are legit and the ones that aren't.
That's what I was going to ask you. Now, the average woman, what do you think, was there red flags that they should have seen after,
I think as soon as he started asking for money.
Right. Exactly.
The
billionaires don't ask for money.
Correct. Well, he also had a good scam. Listen, there were layers. He even showed pictures of his bodyguard being beat up and attacked, and told the women that he was being threatened and his life was in danger and he didn't have access to his banks, whatever. But here's the other thing. He's supposed to have come from this billionaire family. So why not go to your family for the money? Why not go to friends that you've known for a long time for the money? You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So those things. I think the problem is the women, we are raised to believe that it takes a knight on a white horse to save us, instead of being raised to believe that we can save ourselves. And so we're just conditioned, like from our earliest memories, that these Disney stories are true. We want them to be true, and we want to believe. And so they wanted to believe so much that they were special, that they were so special and had been chosen by this special guy, and so they didn't want to take off the rose-colored glasses to even kind of look at the red flags, or certainly confront him about the red flags. They wanted to believe the fantasy,
Yeah.
and that's what got him in trouble.
Do you still think Tinder is a good place to meet somebody that
I've never thought Tinder was a particularly good place to meet anybody. Another big thing I talk about, everybody wants to know, what are my favorite dating apps and things like that. I say you need to go where the guys, where you need to do some research, and you need to see where they are that suit you best. Is it on Millionaire Match? Maybe. Is it Bumble? Is it Hinge? Those are really the most popular. And then you get into Luxy is another high end. And then there's also Raya, but that's, reserved for celebrities, and it's hard to get on Raya. Are you on Raya, Kimbra?
I'm not on Raya, but also it's good for influencers too, right? I mean,
well, that's the thing. And this is how we're going to dive into vetting people and things, right?
Okay.
So that's the thing. Like on Raya, the only way they vet people is how cool you are, how many followers you have. So yes, so, but they're not vetting you for being a gold digger. They're not making sure that you're not like some douchey dude that just wants to take advantage of women. Like there's zero vetting. And that is also the problem on really all the dating apps. There is zero vetting. I mean, Raya gives the illusion of it because it's like so exclusive and somebody who's a member has to recommend you and they have to look at your Instagram and see. But again, that's all very superficial. It's
Right.
not speaking to your intentions of
Right.
what your purpose is. And so
Mhm.
that's where real vetting comes in. And unfortunately, none of the dating apps are doing it, mostly because it's incredibly hard to do. It would be incredibly hard to
Too
scale
many people.
and vet. Yes.
And you
exactly.
mentioned, I think that Tinder is going to start to do background checks. Didn't you say
Yeah.
that?
So this is something that, okay. So Tinder is owned by Match.com. Essentially, they have a big main company that sort of owns all of them. But the easiest way to explain it to people is like Match.com owns Tinder, and
Got it.
along with other dating companies, they buy them all up basically. But anyway, so Tinder actually came out of one of the incubators that's associated with Match.com. So they've always been connected to them. But the thing is, this whole debate about background checks has been going on for a very, very long time. And because listen, there's been a lot of bad things that have happened to people who've used Match.com and other dating apps over the years. Okay. Now Tinder did just announce that they are going to be doing background checks. I'd be very curious to what that's going to look like, because the reason no other dating sites or dating apps have really done this in all these years, and somebody told me this a long time ago, and it makes perfect sense, is because here's the problem. Just because, like if they do a background check on you, right? But you're a serial killer, you've never been caught,
Right.
you'll pass a background check. So the reason they've never done it before is because it gives people a false sense of security.
Yeah, that's a good
They
point.
feel like, oh, if somebody, and so in a way, it makes that company more legally
liable.
liable because they've told somebody that somebody passed about. I'm sure there'll be all this like legal mumbo jumbo that
Sure.
nobody's ever going to read the fine print that says, can't promise he's not going to hack you to bits. Can't promise she's not a hooker, blah, 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 blah. You know, you enter with at your own risk, but we know that at least this person has never been caught. That's the way the
Sure.
background checks should be phrased, instead of saying, hey, we can vouch for this guy or girl because they've had a background check.
What
I
about
should
doing?
say, well, listen, they've just never been caught, but you know, have fun. It's the best we can do, because that's really what it is.
What about even like a credit check? You know, do they do that? Because that kind of will show you too, like you've got your finances in order. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, again, that is not a bad idea at all. Again, you know, I think that a lot of times, let's say somebody is a very high-end prostitute,
Mhm.
you know, or sex worker. I guess that's the more appropriate term they've told
The
me. on
politically
TikTok.
correct.
TikTok, they whip your butt for anything you don't do. Get right over there. But anyway, yeah, sex workers. You know, I would imagine if she makes great money, she's got great credit. Probably got more
Sure.
money than I do. You do. You know what I mean? So then again, a background check, if she's never been arrested and she makes great money, doesn't mean she's not a sex worker.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's just, honestly, there's not, the bottom line is there's nothing that's foolproof. You have to use common sense.
Right.
And then at the end of the day, you just kind of roll the dice. I mean, if you think about it, Kelly, you're married or what?
No,
Oh, okay. But you don't do any of this stuff.
no.
Okay. Yeah, I get it, because Kimbra has alluded to that you're not in, you know, and you said
I'm
you're
not in the game.
you're not in the game,
Really
which
not.
makes it sound like you're out of the game, which makes
Yeah.
it sound like you're taken, but you're
No,
not.
no,
Yeah,
no, no, no.
No, I'm just really driven for my career at this point of my life, and I've dated enough, and you know.
Girl, I am in the same boat. Do you know the most infuriating question that I get, and I hate it? It's when people want to like discredit me and they'll say, are you married? It's like, if you knew how many losers I, dated
Went through.
through the 80s and 90s, like, and with, I mean, all sorts of horror stories. One held a gun to my head. One took me on a drug run. I mean,
Oh
these
my
and
God.
celebrities and
Oh my
rock
God.
stars. I mean, for God's sakes. And then throw that in with the fact that I've learned so much about men having this matchmaking business. I am good. I am good. I've
Yeah.
dated enough.
Yeah.
And the thing is, you don't need to be married to be good at being a matchmaker. You just have to be good at connecting people.
It's
And
like
I
the
am.
teacher.
Yeah.
A lot of teachers
Yeah.
I know don't want kids because they're around
Right.
them all the time.
There we go.
Yeah.
Yes, there we go.
Yeah.
Right. But it's like, to me, it's just so stupid. Some matchmakers, make a whole career, base their whole backbone of their business is the fact that they were able to get themselves married to one person. Think about it.
I don't think
Okay,
married
no,
people
we're-
really know anything about dating.
No,
I don't
they're
think
not
they would
on the
be good people
pulse.
to take advice from at all.
Right. They're not on the pulse.
Someone that's dated
I'm
a
on the
lot is,
pulse.
yeah,
Right.
much better at giving advice.
Yeah.
Now, having a
Anyway.
healthy relationship, you might want to go to someone who's
Sure.
married
If
once
you want
find
to,
that
right.
person.
So once you're married and trying to maintain that relationship and all that jazz,
juggle kids.
yeah, that's
and
not what I
careers.
talk about.
Yeah,
I talk
true.
about how to do dating better.
finding, yeah.
Don't make the mistakes I did, and then I try to give them some intel into these billionaires and these men that I've also been working with for the last almost 15 years now. So you combine that and I'm good staying at home with my animals and just helping people.
Yeah. And congratulations on your new home, by the way. I know
Oh,
you've got a
thank you.
home.
My cabin. I have my
Yeah.
cabin in the woods, which is good. And then I will be getting another house back in LA. You probably closer to summer, maybe. But I like being here because I am working on a memoir. The ugly business of love, and then
Oh, I like that
cut to, well, I don't know that I'm calling it that, but I
Oh.
could, I guess. I was thinking of Love Crazy, the making of a billionaire's matchmaker, but I don't
That's
know.
good too.
Thank you.
That is.
And then, I want to intercut it with all my crazy dating adventures through the 80s and 90s, and then cut to how I built this business and,
Mhm.
anyway,
Mhm.
it's going to be good, but I needed to be out of LA and just kind of a little more
Solitude is probably really
solitude.
helping you.
It really,
Yeah.
I really love it. Yeah, I do love it in a lot of ways. I'm starting to lose my mind, but I do love it now because I do still come into LA like once or twice a week. I do as I need to interview women for the database or meet prospective clients. But it's so weird. I've become that person now where I go and I'm like, now all of a sudden I can see all the ugliness and it's disgusting and the stinky. And there's none of that here. The other thing is when I was in Venice, because I was living in Venice for the last 6 years. Oh my God. Helicopters, fire engines, people
That's
screaming. And I mean, all night long, every night. Now here, it's just like,
I know. I mean, I love Venice too, though. I mean, really, if I had a choice to get a new place I wouldn't mind Venice or Santa Monica. It's beautiful there. But Venice has that dichotomy of, extreme wealth near the
yes, it does.
channels or whatever they're called.
The canals, but actually
Canals.
where I lived was extreme wealth because I lived on the walk streets. So if you're in Venice, you either want to be on the walk streets or the canals. The problem with the canals is
Stinky.
no. The canals are beautiful and great. I just feel like it's your people are a little closer than even on the walk street. On the walk street, we're close, but it's still a little more space. I feel like, I don't know. But my neighbors were great in Venice, but yeah, it was just
I know.
and it's a lot.
I
Anyway.
know. Well,
Okay, let's talk about these loser men that take advantage of women, shall we?
Let's talk. No, let's do.
No, what do you want to know? I'm happy to help you.
So we already talked about how, what to spot about the money, right? And then is there any other red flags that we should know about?
There are some red flags just
the
in
biggest
general.
ones.
Well, in general, it's like I think anybody that wants to, a couple things. I think anybody that wants to get really familiar with you really quickly. There's, like my guys, if somebody's legitimately interested, they want to spend time getting to know you. They don't want like instant romance.
Right.
And anybody that wants instant romance or even instant friendship, it's a red flag. It's like, why are you trying to bum rush me into this? And I think the first moment where you feel rushed or uncomfortable, it should be like, bing, it should be a bell going off in your head. And then I also think the other part of it is, as soon as you express that to somebody like, hey, this is going a little fast, and then they don't listen and they try to talk you out of how you feel, they're just trying to manipulate you at that point.
Right. That's true.
A therapist told me that years ago, and I never forgot that. They said, when you tell somebody no once and they don't pay attention and they try to talk you into what they want, they're just trying to manipulate you.
Yeah.
I never forgot that.
I always follow my gut, and I know a lot of people are out of touch with their gut, but I have a good radar that way. When something doesn't feel right, I feel it in my stomach. And so I've been pretty good about keeping anybody like that out of my life.
I think as women, a lot of times, although it's gotten better with the Me Too stuff and everything coming out, that's come out, not coming out, it's coming on, but
It's here.
It's here and it's here. I think though that, I think that for a long time we were afraid to if we felt uncomfortable, if we felt weird. Years ago, this is going in the memoir along with all my other stories. Years and years and years ago, this was in the 90s, okay? I had the weirdest thing happen. But thank God I didn't, I mean, I was put in so many weird situations, and was very lucky, knock on wood. But anyway, this one was weird because what happened was back in the day, and I'm sure you remember this, you'd been out and there was like, you had a recorder, a tape machine, and you'd come in. I don't know if you ever did this, but I did. And I would star 69 and just to curious who the last number that called me, you know what I mean? Especially if I've been expecting a guy to call and he hadn't. So anyway, I star 69 the phone and this guy answered and he was like, Gina, blah, blah, and he's acting very familiar with me. He knows my name. He knows some things about me. And I was like, I just felt like I couldn't quite remember him. But listen, we used to drink a lot and go out to bars all the time. And I mean, we were wild for a very long time. Sometimes I still am, but not in that way. Anyway, and so used to go out a lot. And so I just thought he was kind of making me feel bad, like, oh, you don't remember me? We just met and blah, 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 blah. And he says, hey, I'm around the corner. Do you want to go grab something to eat real quick? And I was like, I just was like confused. And I don't know, I was young, so young. So he talked me into it and he pulled up. And then I thought, well, I'll recognize him when he gets here. Okay. Right. So then he pulls up and he's at the door of the security building where I lived. And I knew I didn't know him. I knew I didn't know him. He's looking at me as if he knows me. He's talking to me as if he knows me. And I get in his car with him. And I'm just like kind of starting to freak out more by the minute because I knew I didn't know him. And then I said, oh, wait, I forgot something. And so I got out of the car and I ran to my building manager's door and I frantically knocked and I explained the situation really quickly. And then she said, come in here. And then she says, we're going to act like we're going. So anyway, we walked out and we just said, we're leaving. We've got to go somewhere. And he was so pissed, this guy. And he just drove off. Well, I found out what happened. A guy I had been dating was at this guy's place and had called and told this guy all about me and had called me from that guy's place. And but I didn't know the guy. The guy answered the phone knowing he did. It was anyway.
What a freak.
I know, what a freak, right? But yes, but I think that there's just so many times where, even in the Me Too movement and stuff, we're just so afraid to say no. We don't want this.
You want to
this
hurt
feels
their feelings
weird. You want to hurt their feelings. And I think a lot of women still feel that way, especially when they think that if they've never dated a super rich guy. I had a girl write to me recently because it's been great because a lot of younger girls I've been able to help. She wrote to me recently through Instagram and she was like, I said, how old are you? She was like 19 or 20. And then the guy, I think he was probably a little older, but he was what I call an SOB, which do you know what that is?
Well, no.
Son of a billionaire.
I was going to say the other one, but
no, I know. So I was just joking. So yes, so he's a son of a billionaire. And she's like, Gina, he's a billionaire, but he's really pushing me into sex. And I don't really want to have sex. It's so soon and da, da, da. Mm-hmm. And she's like, but I'm worried I'll never meet another person like this before again. Mm-hmm. And I was like, you know what? If he's trying to rush you into sex, then especially if he's trying to rush you into sex, it's important to say no because probably he never hears no and you'll be different. That's and the more different you are, the more they're actually going to like you. And if he doesn't like you, then it's good riddance anyway. And he just wanted you for sex. So either way, it's a win-win. Yep. I don't know what ended up happening, but I was really trying hard to convince her because any man that wants to rush you into sex, that's usually just wants sex. Yeah. And if you do tell him no, and he then leaves, well, then now have your answer in proof that yes, he just wanted sex. So either way, it's a way to test the sincerity. So again, that goes hand in hand with when they try to rush you into things, it's a red flag.
That's a good point. And I was telling Kelly a little earlier.
And that was a long way to answer that question.
Well, good. That was interesting.
This is what you get when you get somebody on the line who's like, in the middle of the woods all by themselves.
Right? I gotta talk. I gotta talk
to somebody.
No. I'm going stir crazy. But Kelly and I were talking about an ex-boyfriend of mine. And I was saying, it's so interesting how this guy is very good looking, charming, but he wants the woman to, take care of him. Right.
Is he a loser?
He doesn't have to be, but I guess he is, right? He doesn't have to be because he knows how to make
he's talented,
charming, good looking.
Yeah.
Right, but by my definition, a loser is somebody who's not conquering the world, who's like sitting back waiting for other people to take care of them. To me,
Well,
that's
I think he's had his spurts of, trying to accomplish certain things, whatever. Anyway, he definitely wants the woman to take care of him, right? So, right. So I was like, isn't it interesting how, and he's been very successful. I didn't want to take care of him, but he's been very successful on having very wealthy women take care of him. And I was like, isn't it interesting how so many women want to sign up for that program? I don't.
Well, it's just like, listen, it's just like wealthy men do. There's wealthy men that want to just take care of women who just want to be on the payroll.
I get that. But
it's harder for you to believe that women would want to do that.
It's harder.
I agree.
Because I don't respect, it's just, maybe it's me, maybe it's not very enlightened of me, but I don't respect a man because especially this particular person wants you to be more the traditional woman, like cook, yes, sir, blah, blah, blah. But they don't want to be the traditional man, right?
Wow.
So it was
well, you know what? Here's the thing, and I'm no doctor, and I don't even think this case with this guy, anybody even needs to be a doctor to say this guy's a total narcissist.
Exactly.
No,
complete
definitely.
And
utter narcissist.
Yeah, definitely. That you hit the nail on the head with that one. But it's just funny because I was just thinking, it's so interesting how he's been able to get these women
in. He finds women that are willing,
especially one that he had before me actually was very wealthy and pretty.
Right.
And she was like, and then he broke up with her, and then we got back together, and he was like, she said, I don't mind if you cheat on me just as long as I don't know. And I'm like, really? Is this woman that desperate that she
some people are that desperate,
Really?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
I think it's
called
about
accepting crumbs from bums.
The lack of self-respect, not respecting yourself.
Of course.
And when I was in the dating game, I attracted a lot of very wealthy men because I had such self-respect. I mean, they weren't it wasn't going to come easy, and it was nothing to do with them having money or not having money. And they also appreciated, I didn't care about their money. You're not going to, you can't buy me. It's not possible.
Right. Exactly.
And they knew that.
Right.
And so it made me that much more attractive and desirable to them, but I wasn't game playing. It's just,
that's who you are.
And
yeah.
I care about how you treat me, not what you have.
Right.
And I feel like if more women understood that, it would be easy. It would be easier to find someone who's genuine and sincere.
Sure. I agree with that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what else?
You have to ask me questions, and I answer.
I know. You're really good. What do you think, Kel?
Well, I'm still the
Tinder Swindler.
The Tinder Swindler. I'm still fascinated that women, gave him money. And I know that it goes on here in America with other dating apps, like older women. They get on these apps, and then they meet men, and they give them money. I mean,
I know. I cannot believe it. But again, these con artists, here's the deal. They run it like a numbers game. So they might get 1,000 no's, but they only need like one yes here and there. True. So they get the one yes after 1,000 no's, and that one yes gives them enough money to get through the other 1,000 no's and the other yes. You know what I mean? And it goes on and on. So I don't know that it's common. I think these guys and women who do it too, they just run it like a numbers game. You know what I mean? It's essentially like telemarketing, boom, 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 boom. And that's why, here's another thing. That's why it's like what women don't understand. So right now I'm trying something out. I don't know if I want to do it. I don't know if I like doing it. It's okay so far. But I'm doing this coaching with this woman in particular, and she's an immigration attorney out of Vegas. She's great. She's never hardly dated in her life. Like, she married the first guy that came along when she was young and married him after like a month or something. And so she's never really dated. So I'm trying to get her back in the game, and she's trying the dating apps, but she's never done it. So she's struggling. So anyway, I said, let me set you up on Millionaire Match and Bumble and Hinge. So she's doing Bumble and Hinge, but here's what I'm trying for her. And this is where I'm like, I'm not sure. I said, let me run your Millionaire Match. So I am the one running her Millionaire Match profile for her. Okay. I am the one that's looking. So the way I run it though, and this is the same way I tell women, is like, I'm never going on Millionaire Match looking for the guys, not doing that. I might look to see who's in Vegas, because that does present itself as a kind of a challenge, because there's a lot of people passing through Vegas. They don't live there. So that's kind of weird. But anyway, so we wait on men who make effort. Okay. Now, what I'm learning and seeing, I mean, I always knew this, but what I'm seeing is there's so many men who aren't reading her profile because I wrote it and I really only want to date someone local to Vegas, blah, blah, blah. There's men from Florida and New York and blah, 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 but they're just liking her. They're not even saying anything.
Right.
They're not making effort. And so, what you have to be aware of is you want somebody who's making effort, somebody who is like, listens, like, oh, I want to fly you to Rome. Oh, really? Are you ever in Las Vegas? Because I put on my profile, I'm really looking for somebody local to Las Vegas,
Sure.
And I don't know, I started down this road and now I've forgotten what ultimately I was
Well, you
thinking.
did mention you're not sure if you want to do this.
We're just running their profiles for them because I think a lot of women, get caught up. Here's what happens. A lot of women get caught up in how many people have viewed them or matched with them or liked them, when really that means absolutely nothing. I think right now on her profile, she has like over 100 like hearts and flowers or whatever. But, maybe only one of those guys out of like 100 or probably even more have like even made an effort to say anything. So in other words, I think women get so caught up in, oh, everybody likes me. But the reality is that's not true. It's not true.
I have a friend that's doing a lot of the dating apps, and she's finding that a lot of she gets, she matches up with these guys, and they don't even suggest having the coffee. They do back and forth. And she's getting really frustrated with that they don't say, hey, let's go meet for dinner. Let's whatever. They just keep, how was your day? How was your day? And this goes on for weeks.
So in my book, The Gray Manhunt, I literally lay out a whole blueprint and strategy just for that. So it's all about making sure that your profile photos look the right way and that you put your info in your bio just the right way that filters out. Because a lot of times when we're on the dating apps, also, we create a profile either that is not really elevated. Like it might be good for Instagram or friends who know us, but it's not like I say to everybody, you have to ask yourself, right? For your dating photos, if InStyle magazine or one of the magazines you like, whether it's Country Life or whatever, it came to you and said, hey, we want to do a 5-page spread on you. And we want to show you in the best light and really showcase your lifestyle and who you are. Would those be the pictures the pictures that you are currently using on the dating app?
Right.
And if they're not, then they don't belong on the dating app. Do you see what I mean? Because people are just doing like haphazard stuff. So your profile has to be great. You also have to make sure that you're saying like, I want a man at my level. You have to be willing to turn the guys off that aren't going to be right for you. But yet we want to attract everybody, but that's not it. So then in the messaging, it should really only be 3 or 4 messages, like I say it like a tennis match, a vibe going. And after literally 3 or 4 messages at the most, if he has not suggested a call, then you need to suggest a call. You need to say something like, I'm not really on the dating apps that much, to be honest with you. I'd just rather get on a call and chat, because you don't even want to skip from messaging straight to a date either. You really want to get on a call that's where on the call, 20-30-minute call, you can actually pre-qualify him even more. You find out, because a lot of guys will say they're divorced, but they're not legally divorced.
Right.
You have to ask them, are you legally divorced? How long has it been finalized? So any questions that are big for you that you're not 100% sure of, that's what you want to get cleared up on the call. Then at the end of the call, if he has not suggested, if he goes, oh, well, I'll call you again sometime, you stop it right there. And you just say, either you like him and you want to see him or you don't. So either you say, oh, you're nice, but I don't maybe think this is the connection I'm looking for. Or you say, yeah, it's been fun chatting with you, but I'm not looking for, phone friends. So if you want to actually meet in person, maybe we can grab lunch or dinner. Let's make a plan. Boom. But then you're throwing it to him and he needs to come up with a plan.
Wow. Gina, you've given us so much great advice. This is a whole other episode that I have so many, when you're talking, I'm thinking I have questions, I have more questions, but we're running out of time, unfortunately.
Yeah,
so I really
covered a lot of ground.
We did. We got the Tinder Swindler. We got advice for dating millionaires. Billionaires. Sorry.
You're almost making me want to date again, Gina.
I know, right?
I'm missing out on the fun.
And actually, I'm going to tell my friend, I won't say her name, to get your book, because I think she could really take your advice.
She should get my book. And then, I've had a private
group.
So my first book is called Stop Being a Bitch and Get a Boyfriend.
Right. That was
And that is on Amazon. It's fun. It's funny. It forces you to kind of laugh at yourself as you also take a look at all the things that you might be doing wrong when it comes to dating and relationships,
Yeah.
you know? It's all the different personality types we take on, from the business bitch to the mama bitch to the, it's a whole thing. It's a fun book. But so that book, and then now this one, The Great Manhunt. But there is another thing I want to mention, and I don't talk much about it. So I've had a private Facebook group. Are you in the group, Kimbra?
No, but
I'm
mention
not-
it
I don't-
quickly.
I don't know why you're not in it. So it's called Badass and Brilliant Women, and it's on Facebook, and it's free. And now all these TikTok women are coming in. I have like 2,000 women, and they ask me dating questions, and they interact with me, and they get up close and personal. So it's called Badass and Brilliant Women on Facebook, and it's free. And yeah, and the ladies are coming, and it's great. It's fun.
I'm getting on it right after this call.
Yeah, you don't even have to be single. I have a lot of celebrity women in it. I have entrepreneurs, I have married women, mamas, everybody. It's just a way to like lift you up and give you all kinds of different advice to be your best badass and brilliant self.
Oh, thanks, Gina.
Yeah.
We'll see you
Sure.
soon. And
Okay, thanks,
everybody
guys.
get her book. Check her
Yeah.
out. She's amazing.
Yeah.
Matchmaker Gina Hendrix on TikTok. That's a good way to
Okay.
find me. Okay, thanks, guys.
Bye.
Thank you,
Bye-bye. See
Gina.
you.
Good to see you.